Here are your Court News Ohio top stories in 5 minutes. Courtrooms are supposed to be quiet and civil.
Again, please.
But like any public spaces, they've also experienced the unexpected. So men and women who protect the buildings are taking added steps to ensure security. In conjunction with the Ohio Supreme Court, the Ohio Bailiffs and Court Officers Association recently held 2 days of training in downtown Columbus.
Where's it at? Where's it at?
The last session was how to handle a firearm when dealing with an active shooter.
It may be yourself and one other bailiff, and you have over 100 people in there, and you get someone that comes in and says, gun, you got to know how to move.
Move, 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 move.
The mixture of verbal and hands-on training
This way, too. Move, move, move.
stressed fundamentals on how to minimize mental mistakes in high-pressure situations.
Instead of being up or down, it was here and you went like this.
Those included gun placement and how to navigate through a crowd.
Be boy, be boy.
We give them the basic information, and then they can practice at any time, whether it be indoors, outdoors, and then it just continues along. So if they ever have to use it, they actually have the skill set.
Questions from participants varied from communication breakdowns
Everybody's saying down here, okay? Where's down
Yeah.
here?
to what kind of holster they should use. While there can be a lot of variables in a real-life scenario, all of the exercises drilled a central message.
Were they safe? Yes. That's the goal.
We really want to show you the best so you can use what you think in the right decision at the right time, the right tactic that you use in order to be successful when this happens.
When analyzing legal principles in the U.S., they lead back to the revolutionaries who started it all. But concepts such as innocent until proven guilty and the right to a speedy trial didn't originate with First President George Washington and company.
Cesare Beccaria is a very important figure in the history of jurisprudence.
One of the 18th century's great philosophers was the subject of the Ohio Supreme Court's Forum on the Law. It was the 15th installation in a series designed to help people better understand the American judicial system by focusing on a specific topic and providing expert views. Ohio State professor Dr. Charles Klopp has devoted his life's work to Italian literature and history. In his research, he learned how Cesare Beccaria's insights influenced the American justice system.
There was some thinking about the rights of everybody, the accused who are innocent, the weak who can't stand torture.
Along with foundations established in the Bill of Rights, the criminologist was against the death penalty. His insight compelled leaders across Europe to abolish capital punishment. His ideals eventually had an impact in Ohio as well.
He said the least amount of punishment should be exacted, and it reflects on the cornerstones of our sentencing statutes in the state.
The overwhelming goal of punishment is not vengeance, but deterrence.
Few people know the Thomas J. Moyer Ohio Judicial Center like the building's tour guides.
A lot of times we get groups of people from Columbus. It's always very interesting to talk to them about how the building came about and what the history of the city was.
But for all of their insights,
this is the modern era, the cutting edge. This is the future.
There's always some more information out there.
It was a dream, an idealization, but it provided the seed for the growth of the Civic Center idea, which now is seeing its foundation laid.
As part of a day in which the Ohio Supreme Court showed its appreciation to these volunteers, the guides learned even more about the building, its part in the city's landscape, and the people who produced it.
What endured was the tradition, the way the building works as a building, how highly functional it actually works through its circulation and through its spaces.
The continuing education program proceeded with an impromptu lesson from Justice Michael Donnelly during lunch.
When people want to learn about the law, they want to walk into a building that inspires that kind of confidence.
He shared some of his experiences on the bench and detailed the dynamics of what it's like to deliberate on decisions.
The magic number's 4. And if you can get 4, you got it. You're in the majority, but if you're not, you just say your piece.
That was one of several new nuggets of knowledge, not only for those in attendance, but the thousands of future visitors as well.
I loved the way he talked about the nonpartisan way they work together. I'm going to use that to say, you know what, people can disagree and still be friendly.
And that's a look at Court News Ohio's top stories. Visit courtnewsohio.gov for the latest headlines on Ohio's courts. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter.